How light is too light for a hunting rifle? We're talking with Jeff Bradley of Christensen Arms right now.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
This episode is brought to you by Ruger, Timney Triggers, Range Ready, Vortex, Savage, Franchi, and CZ USA. All right, welcome in, Gun Talk Hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and today we've got a great guest. I won't lie to you, he kind of roasted all of us riders who went up to Christensen Arms pretty good. Super funny guy, super knowledgeable. It is Mr. Jeff Bradley. How you doing, bud?
We're doing really well today, Kevin. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. Well, probably far better than I deserve. I can guarantee you that. But no, it's been solid. It's been busy. I've been gator hunting. I've been dove hunting. I've been duck hunting. So the hunting season has opened up for me.
I don't know how you handle the pressure in your Kevin, KJ. I don't know how you handle the pressure.
See, I told you,
you must have to take a lot of triactin in your line of work.
Try acting like a man.
Yeah, take 2 of these and try acting like a man.
Yes, exactly. Oh, but yeah, it's been, it's tough sometimes. The other day we woke up and we went duck hunting out like Lake Charles area, like real far south, kind of all southwest Louisiana. And I don't know. So I have a hard and fast rule, Jeff. Here's my rule. And this is good. This has been a standard rule for me and I broke it and I will never do it again. Duck hunting after deer hunting. That's been my rule forever.
Yeah.
And I broke it and I remember why I kept that rule because my alarm clock went off at 1:30 in the morning. That's the stupidest thing anybody can do. I'm telling you right now, don't do that.
We need 2 different alarms, one for waterfowl and one for big game.
Right.
So at 1:30 in the morning, we can make an informed decision, right?
Well, I'm telling you, it was just, I woke up like fine and I was sitting there and I was brushing my teeth and I was going, why am I brushing my teeth at 1:30 in the morning? I'm not that mad at these ducks.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's not funny at all. Like, it's pretty depressing.
But a good day in the blind is a good day in the blind, right? It's a lot of fun, especially if you're with a bunch of guys that you get along well with and the birds are in the air.
Yeah.
It's a pretty fun day. However, I don't know that I would trade that for a good day in a deer blind.
Never. I would never. That's why my rule is absolutely like no ducks before deer. And I'll remember that next time I get a call saying, "Hey, you want to go duck hunting?" Well, is it still deer season? So yeah, no, I'm not going to do that.
A lot of us use we use waterfowl hunting like salads. If there's not a steak, then we'll go ahead and fill in the blanks with that salad. And there's a lot of guys that love duck hunting and waterfowl hunting, and good for them. You know, the Ducks Unlimited guys do great work, and I'm glad they're there. But I share your perspective as far as priorities go.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And, Jeff, why don't you just give them a rundown kind of on your background real quick, because I do think it's a key piece of this story. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about lightweight rifles and different technologies that are going into these lightweight backcountry rifles. And it really all started with Christensen Arms. That's really where, the ground floor was laid, and you have been there quite some time.
Absolutely. I was fortunate. I went into the military right out of high school, so I served 30 years in the military. And while I was there, in a town adjacent to where I lived, I was aware of a business starting up, the Christensen family. They had some prosthetics and some aerospace applications. So they were doing work with composites even before they started to work on a carbon wrapped barrel. And so I was aware of the family. I knew what they were doing. And then I started to become aware that they were actually putting composites on a rifle barrel. And I thought that was very intriguing. I kind of followed along with them for a while. But at this time, I'm still in the military, right? I've got my military career. So I was conscious of it, but not really involved in it. And at some point, I retired from the military, and Jason Christensen knew a little bit about me, and he thought maybe I would be a good fit. So he called me and had me come down to the factory and introduced me through the factory, and I got to up close and personal with the manufacturing and some of the products and stuff. And he actually emailed me an offer to work for him before I even made it home, a half hour. And I was really excited to accept that offer based on what I'd seen. And what I saw, KJ, was a lot of what you saw when you came to
Yeah.
the factory and visit. There's a lot of cutting edge technology with normal firearm manufacturing coupled with the application or the incorporation of synthetics, of
Yeah.
composites. And that's what really intrigued me. So it's been a really good match. The initial application of carbon wrapped barrel, the interface between stainless steel and carbon was a challenge. There's a
Yeah.
learning curve there. And so those guys kind of survived that in the early days. I've been here about 10 years, and the company is almost 30 years old, 27, 28 years old. So as a gun company goes, we're really young, but we've made a lot of progress and grown a great deal during that short time. And a lot of it was because we were on the tip of the spear of lightweight, accurate hunting rifles.
Well, and kind of how I view that is that smaller companies, and it's always been this case. Whenever I look at these big gun companies, it's harder to steer the ship. Whereas like with a company like Christensen being a little bit more nimble, they can change like on a dime, and they can really dial in what they want to succeed at. And it seemed like that happened early on with the different the carbon fibers that you guys started using.
Yeah, we were able to pivot very quickly and with everything under our own control. Eventually, when we initially started, we were buying a Remington rifle and just contouring and wrapping the Remington barrel. And there were disadvantages to that. It kind of got us going, but we didn't have control over tolerances, and tolerance
Right.
stacking and the quality of that stuff. And so when we brought all that in-house about 10 or 12, 14 years ago, that's when it really started to get real for us. And at that point, then we had control over our own destiny, and we could pivot and make changes, monitor quality, and try new things. And it was really, really a great event for us to bring it all in-house.
Yeah, and I remember like this is a gun, like a Christensen rifle means today what it meant back in the day. I really do. I think this is a rifle that a lot of people aspire to. And man, it just seems like they keep getting better every day. And I guess one of the things that I wanted to kind of touch on is and get your perspective, Jeff, is have we maxed out on how light we can go? I mean, because it seems like we're just at that point where it's like, man, I mean, are we going to be able to get under, that? Are we shooting for 4 pounds? What are we shooting for? What is our litmus and where we are headed?
Well, and that's a great question, Kevin. And I'm going to use the gun right in front of you there as an example. That ridge line in front of you that you built when you were here for the Writers Week
Yeah.
incorporates a stock using flash forged technology for the carbon fiber. And so if we take that stock in front of you and compare it to the legacy ridge line of
Yeah.
a few years earlier, that technology allowed the company to take 16 full ounces right out of the stock.
Oh,
And that's huge, when you're talking about just a few pounds and
yeah,
you come up with a 1 pound weight savings, that's
that's
significant,
massive.
And so we've been able to do a few things like that, but I almost feel like you do. At some point, it's going to be without some kind of new technology we don't have available today. We're getting close to where it's just about as light as you can get them. And the truth is, at some point, I think a gun can be too light
Yes.
for the intended purpose. And I'm going to use F-class shooting, for example. F-class guys don't shoot a 2 pound rifle, a 4 pound rifle, right? And even hunters need a little bit of mass to the rifle that they're carrying for it to be a functional and accurate rifle. So, but we're always going to be trying, we're always going to be looking for little things we can do, not just weight savings, but even quality too and accuracy.
Yeah, and maybe we're just going to be refining our practices rather than like trimming. Maybe that's.
Yeah.
I think that with the flash forge technology that you guys are using, I mean, I guess that's one example of it.
It is, yeah. And we, as you're aware, We even make some receivers out of titanium, so there's a little bit of weight savings using it, and then the brakes, receivers and brakes out of titanium. So there's a few little things like that we can do, but at some point, it almost is going to be what it is, at least for the foreseeable future. And then, like you said, refinements in stock
Mm-hmm.
dimensions, bolt function, ammunition, new calibers maybe.
Yeah.
We'll get a ballistically advanced caliber, and we'll be able to roll that brand new caliber into a lightweight hunting platform like that Ridgeline.
Well, I mean, I think I mean, since we are talking about the Ridgeline right now, I mean, this rifle, when you start to look at it, I mean, it's about as light. I don't honestly, it's about as light as I'd like to have it. Like any backcountry like hunting rifle that I'm going to take out, you know, you now need to start looking at where you're going to save weight. It's going to be in the bipod. It's going to be in the suppressor. It's going to be in the optic. I mean,
Hmm.
those, you know, more accessory pieces that you're going to attach to the rifle are going to make, they're going to have to catch. It's almost like you guys have outpaced everybody else, like all the accessories and everything. It's like you've gone, all right, well, if you want us to make it light, we've made it as light as we can go. So let's see what you got.
And you know, it's been interesting as you bring up a point. Now you see a lot of suppressors being made out of titanium,
Yep.
and you see a lot of, instead of the older all metal bipods, we're seeing some now that have carbon fiber legs on them. And optics manufacturers are weight conscious. You see some of those folks have gone out of their way to try and make a little bit lighter optic for a lightweight hunting
Yeah.
package. And it makes a difference if you're going to carry your rifle on your back in the Wrangell Mountains looking for a sheep for 8 days. Ounces matter.
Yeah.
You know, I'll never forget. I was watching a show one time, and Jim Shockey showed his toothbrush. He cut his toothbrush in half, threw
Yeah.
the other half of the handle away because he didn't need it. And that was, if you get down to the point that you're saving that kind of weight, all of this stuff really does add up to make for a better hunt.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, I bet Jim Shockey in the backcountry is probably the stinkiest dude out there because you know he only brought one pair of draws.
Yeah, he's pretty weight conscious on
But
some
he's
of
an
his hunts
animal. I
for
mean, he
sure.
gets it done. I mean, he does it right for sure. But man, 8 days in the backcountry with him, I bet is almost
Yeah,
intolerable.
if you look at his body of work, he's hard to equal,
Yeah, he
but
is.
so whatever he's doing works for him, right?
Absolutely, it does. Well, let's jump in here. We're going to jump in here with a little break. And when I come back, let's talk about what I'm going to do with this rifle. Unmatched precision with the Ruger American Gen 2. In the heart of the wilderness, precision matters. Ruger introduces the American Gen 2 rifle. Designed for hunters who demand excellence, the Ruger American Gen 2 offers enhanced accuracy, smooth bolt action, and durable design. It's the perfect companion for any hunting expedition, providing reliable performance every time you pull the trigger. Trust the Ruger American Gen 2 to deliver when it counts. Visit Ruger.com to learn more and find your next hunting rifle. What a hit. When it comes to hunting, your trigger is everything. Timney Triggers introduces the Remington 700 Hit Trigger, designed for those serious shooters. The Remington 700 Hit Trigger offers adjustable pull weight, ensuring you get the perfect customized feel you deserve. It's built for precision and reliability so you can trust your every shot. Timney Triggers has many triggers for hunting for a bunch of different rifles out there. Discover the Remington 700 Hit and transform your hunting experience. Visit timneytriggers.com to explore all they got. It's time to prepare for the shot of a lifetime. Whether you're a seasoned hunter or new to the sport, preparation is key. I preach it all the time. At Range Ready Studios, we offer the training you need to make that shot of a lifetime. Chris Serino is on staff, and he has a host of instructors on hand to provide personalized trainings in state-of-the-art facilities and practical exercises that build your confidence and skills. From precision marksmanship to quick target acquisition, we've got you covered. Don't leave your success to chance. Visit rangereadystudios.com to learn more. All right, we're talking about one of my absolute favorite hunting suppressors. This one is developed for that backcountry guy. That's the Banish Backcountry. So if you want to be stealthy in the field, you got to go lighter. You got to go smaller. We understand that. That's where the Banish Backcountry really steps up. Designed for the ultimate portability and maximum noise reduction, the Banish Backcountry suppressor ensures you stay quiet and undetected in the wilds. Silencer Central makes it effortless to own because it delivers right to your doorstep. This is the beauty of what Silencer Central does. They contact you, you contact them, like you get it bought, you get everything taken care of, and one day you get a little email that says, you know what? Your suppressor is on the way, and that's when it shows up on your door, and you can rest easy knowing that you will be quiet in the field. Hunt smarter and quieter with the Banish Backcountry. Visit silencercentral.com to start your journey. We're talking Razor HD scopes. When you're in the field, clarity and precision are everything. That's what hunters look for, and that's why they trust Vortex Optics and their Razor HD line of scopes. The Razor HD scopes offer superior light transmission, stunning resolution, and unmatched durability. With these scopes, every shot is a confident shot. And you know what? They do have an impeccable lifetime guarantee, so you can trust that your investment is protected for life. Elevate your hunting experience with Razor HD scopes. Visit vortexoptics.com to learn more. Vortex Optics, because every detail counts. In the backcountry, every ounce counts. When the hunt takes you to the extremes, the Savage Ultralight Elite is built to go the distance. Featuring a carbon fiber wrapped barrel and an MDT HNT 26 stock for perfect balance. The Ultralight Elite is engineered for hunters who demand performance at the highest elevations. Precision, power, all in a rifle weighing under 6 pounds. The Savage Ultralight Elite, designed for the backcountry, built for the hunt. When precision meets innovation, you get the Franchi Momentum, a rifle built for those who demand more from their hunt. Designed for ultimate comfort with its ergonomic stock, precision barrel, and crisp trigger pull, the Franchi Momentum gives you the confidence to take that perfect shot. Hunt with momentum, the Franchi Momentum, a new force and precision. Find yours at franchiusa.com. For the reloader who demands precision, there's only one name, the RCBS Rock Chucker. Built with heavy-duty cast iron frame, the Rock Chucker delivers smooth, reliable reloading for every shot, every time. Whether you're crafting for competition or fine-tuning for the hunt, trust the press that delivers precision. RCBS Rock Chucker, because perfection isn't just a goal, it's a process. Get yours at rcbs.com and reload with confidence. All right, we're back with Jeff Bradley of Christensen Arms, and we spent a little bit of time talking new technologies and lightweight rifles, but really I want to kind of shift in what I'm going to do with this rifle. So Christensen had a group of media members up to their facilities in Utah, and I'm telling you what, you guys couldn't have chosen a more beautiful setting to establish a lightweight rifle building company.
And that's one thing that's evident as you toured the factory. You became aware of some of our workers. One guy had a limited entry elk tag right above the factory.
Yeah.
The other guys were headed out on the desert to hunt antelope. We've got hound guys here. We've even got a few waterfowl guys mixed in here too. But the area that we live in affords a great deal of really good access to long-range shooting, both hunting and precision long-range shooting. And that's one of the areas in our business that we paid attention to. That's a fast-growing demographic. So where the factory is located has certainly not hurt our ability to succeed.
No, absolutely not. And so this rifle, so they allowed us to actually put hands on rifles and build them like we were part of the family and part of the family of Christensen Arms, which was a great honor to be able to do that. So we assembled these guns. They were really built by professionals up there at Christensen, but we were just fortunate to be able to lay hands on them and assemble them with the tutelage of guys like Jeff. And I sat here and I was like, and he's going to make fun of me. I know he is. And I love him for it. But we had guys like, you could pick like a 7 PRC or, 6.5 Creedmoor or, 300 Win Mag we had in there. And I went with a 6.5 Creedmoor because I have a boatload of them. I've got a lot of them. But my son does not have his own like big game hunting rifle. And I was like, man, there is no finer gun to gift to a kid. And I'm fortunate to be able to do this, to give him something of this magnitude and hand it over to him and let him use this through his entire life. And so we are a month away from youth season, and he has spent, I don't know, Jeff, it's probably been 3 or 4 hours since we got back just dry firing this gun. Like,
oh, good.
Every night he goes out, he sets the gun up on the bipod and everything, and he just dry fires. That's what he's working on. He's learning that trigger. He's learning the operations and everything. So
breathing
is big. I tell him, I'm like, hey, here's what you need to work on. And I'll sit out there and I'll watch him for a second. I go, okay, you got it. And him and his brother, they sit there and they train each other. So it's pretty cool to see. But this gun is going to spend a full season getting some work in from a 16-year-old, which I cannot wait to film. But it's pretty special. It was really special for me to be able to build this and pass it along to him.
Yeah, sure. And what a perfect caliber. That caliber is I know I gave you a hard time about it, Kevin, but I'm going to give you a hard time anyway. But what a perfect choice for first-time big game hunters in North America. It's genetically predisposed to accuracy. There's a lot of great commercial ammunition available for it. It's got a ton of downrange energy. Yeah. And with the new modern design hunting bullets, we can actually get better performance out of a slower, smaller bullet than we used to be able to, So with all the advancements we've made, that 6.5 Creedmoor is just cash money for young youth hunters. Yeah. And ultimately, you and I know, feel the same way about this. It's okay for us to get together and tell hunting stories and stuff.
Yeah.
But the future of North American big game hunting and hunting in general lies with the youth and younger people coming on.
It really does.
The choice that you're going to give them to shoot, you don't want to send them to the field with the 300 Ultra, and have them have a negative experience. So I applaud your choice. I would have made the same choice, but I'm still going to take advantage of every opportunity to give you a hard time.
I'm glad you did. It was funny because, when he was, passing out range cards when we went to the range and shot these, he was going through and, he got to the 6.5 Creedmoor guys who built those guns. And I think you said, oh, the guys who are just do exactly as their wives tell them to. And
I said, now the crowd that chose a 6.5 Creedmoor as their caliber of choice obviously haven't had an original thought for a number of years.
That's it.
They're just going with the crowd,
That's it.
But those 6.5 Creedmoors shot extremely well on the range that day. So the caliber spoke for itself, right?
And I tell you, and it's what is really cool, because you see these, PRS guys and you see a lot of these guys with these rifles that weigh, 18 to 20 pounds, and they're big, and they're carting them around and putting them on barricades and shooting out to, 1,200 yards in these competitions. I would venture to tell you that this gun will do that exact same thing. With the right shooter behind it, this gun can absolutely perform at the highest levels of competition and hunting conditions. It was impressive to go out there, and I was the very slow one who's like, all right, I'm going to get my dope at at 4, 6, 8, 1,000, and then I'm going to back it down, and I'm going to go, 9, 7, 5, and it did not take long at all to really get this sucker dialed in, and that's an attribute to you guys over at Christensen Arms for building such fine rifles.
Well, and when I was a little worried when we started that exercise, because without actually having a few miles on the guns, it's just kind of a scientific wild guess as to data, load, the ballistic solution. So we got pretty close on that. And I noticed when you walked out and then walked back, as far as ranges go, you were very deliberate.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't just run down range and run back. I noticed you were careful about making small tweaks to that preliminary data. And I noticed you were keeping track of parallax, and so you did the right thing with your rifle.
Yeah,
so you did a good job.
And I'm telling you, what's funny about it is, the data that you gave us, and there's some kind of hard and fast rules that you can stick to within 6.5 Creedmoor, but I can't believe how accurate that was. I mean, you were maybe most of the times within 3 tenths, there were three dials of being exactly where it needed to be. Which, so how did you get that formula?
So the advantage we have with modern stuff now is consistency. Back in the day, 10, 20 years ago, ammunition was not nearly as consistent as it is now with the kind of the standard barrel lengths and rates of twist, and then kind of the center of the road as far as velocities and bullet weights. It's a lot more standardized and a lot more consistent now than it used to be. So it's really not that difficult. And the other advantage we have, Kevin, and you're aware of this as well, the ability to incorporate all the factors in a bullet flying down range. The ballistic solution software that's available now is better than it's ever been before.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And what ballistic software do you prefer?
Gosh, I use quite a bit of it. What we did for range day for you guys was the Hornady 4
DOF.
4OF or DF.
4 DOF, yeah. Yeah, the old.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that stuff's good. That little program works. The ballistic, applied ballistics works. I mean, there's a bunch of them out there that really do work. And I always wanted to try it, and I haven't tried it yet. Actually, I did try it, but it's the whatever your yardage is, subtract 2 from it. Like, so if you're at 800 and you've got a mil optic, we've got MOA on this one, but if you've got a mil optic and you're sitting at 800 yards, dial to 6, and that'll get you pretty dang close. And it
will,
and it does kind of work. But I mean, you're off a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Right. Some calibers better than other. It would work better on a 30-06 than it would a 308 or a 30-30, for example.
Yeah, you're right.
So
yeah. So what hunts do you have coming up?
Gosh, I made a really good choice way back as a young man in Utah. They would allow you to buy a lifetime license, and I did that. And I paid a $500 upfront payment, and I have a lifetime license now. So every year I get a deer tag, a small game license, a fishing license, all of that wrapped in. So in Utah, the deer hunt basically is a draw.
Okay.
And so I get a deer tag every year. I'm going to hunt mule deer above the house with a rifle. And then I do Texas with my sons later in the year. We're going to go down and chase whitetail and aoudad down in Texas by Del Rio.
Oh, really?
So yeah, I got those 2 hunts coming up.
Lucky, man. Aoudad is one of those hunts that I think it's poor man's sheep hunt, but man, they are skittish.
And they've got really good eyesight. They're a pretty good trophy. If you're on food stamps like I am and you can't afford to work on a Grand Slam, it's a good alternative.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I see. If you're on food stamps, I'm lower than that because I haven't been able to go on one of those yet. But they are great, and there's a lot of them out there, especially so near Del Rio, huh?
Yeah.
So are you driving down, or are you going to fly down?
We'll fly down, and I've got a son in Houston. He'll pick us up, and we'll go to the area where we're going to hunt down there. It's a chance to get the dad and sons and even a grandson together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been one of the cool things about having sons that hunt is the chance to go do stuff like that with them. We were able to go down to the South Island in New Zealand and hunt tahr, and we've done a few things like that. So yeah, it's good family time for us.
Oh yeah, it's taking the sons out. That's one of the things. Like, I guess every stage there's stages to this hunting thing. There's the trophy stage, and there's just numbers, and then there's the pass it along stage, and I think that's really kind of where I'm at because I spent last weekend out at the hunting property, and all I did was I was filling feeders for them and cutting blinds and cutting trails, like just make sure they can see. Like, so I'm chainsawing in 102-degree heat. Not a lot of fun when you're in Oklahoma. Like, it's just brutal. It's just horrible. But yeah, it's like, I mean, you got to look at them as the future generations of the hunting. Cause, one thing I did notice, speaking of like future generations of hunting, was the youth influence in Christensen Arms.
Yeah.
Like, there is a ton of, like, because usually you go to some of these factories, and I've done tours on firearms factories before, and it's a lot of guys like our age, like they're aging, and they just, it's a job, they love it, and they love guns. But there was a lot of youth at the Christensen Arms factory, which was a pleasant sight to see.
Well, and for our part, in this little valley that we're in, the labor demographic that we can draw on is
Mm-hmm.
not like a huge metropolitan area.
Yeah.
As you were driving through to and from the factory, you just see some small central Utah towns. And so that's what we draw on. We
Wow.
compete with farms and the correction facility and education. There's a few other options out there for employment, but a lot of the people in the valley are aware of the brand. They know
Yeah.
what we do. They're familiar with what we make. And out of high school, a lot of them are just as happy as they can be to come up and get on a machine and start cranking out receivers for us.
I'm telling you, it is amazing. It's a beautiful factory too, and lots of room to grow for you guys, I think.
There is, yes, sir.
Well, good deal, Jeff. Well, man, thanks for coming on. I know we've been trying to set this up for a while, but after that aoudad hunt, I want to hear from you because I want to see pictures and I got to get you on to talk about it.
Oh, great. No pressure there.
Yeah.
I've got a couple so far, and they're all about a 31-inch ram. So I'm not going to shoot a small ram just for discussion, but I'd love to have a success story for you.
I'm sure you
And
will. Well, at least one of your sons might, or your grandson.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, if not, we'll come up with some kind of
Yeah.
story.
Sounds good, Jeff. Thanks for joining me.
Listen, thanks for helping us tell our story, KJ. We appreciate it very much. It was great having you, and I look forward to doing something down the road.
Amen. I can't wait. All right, all you gun talk hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.